Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing today? So taking from one of Paul's examples of funeral homes, one of my first taglines, my favorite taglines, was a funeral home in Florida that actually did cremations, and it said, "Your last chance for a smoking hot body." That was awful. So how many of you believe that the agency world is too unreliable, too unpredictable, and conditional upon factors way beyond our control? Ratings, the economy. How many of you believe the local direct is controllable, ratings proof, and can provide that consistent foundation of local revenue? You with me? So we meet with hundreds of local business owners each and every year, and what I've found is that by and large, they know their business, their product, their service, their industry, their clientele, their competition. What do you think they're most confused about? Advertising. They don't know why to advertise, where to advertise, how much to advertise, how long to advertise, or how to judge a return on their investment. So what I believe is if we spend more time educating, we don't have to spend as much time selling. You guys agree? Spend more time educating, we don't have to spend as much time selling. You need to sell with confidence, leading them to make a decision that's going to be in their best interest. And what happens when we help their business grow? What happens to our business? It grows as well. So here's the reality. The reality today is there's more competition, more uncertainty, scarce resources, shorter placements, and longer buying cycles. Guess what everybody is? They're nervous, they're scared, there's anxiety, like Paul said, they're staying up nights. They need someone to guide them through the woods. So if you are sick, who do you call? You call a doctor. If you need legal advice, who do you call? You call an attorney. Financial advice, who do you call? A financial planner. If they need marketing advice and guidance and solutions and direction, who do you think they should call? You. You need to be that resource, the one to guide them through this uncharted territory of where this new life is going. So I wrote a book a while back called The $1 Million Media Rep, How to Become a Television and Radio Sales Superstar. And in the book, I really advocate that our clients don't care about our stations. They don't care about our morning shows. They don't care about our evening news. They don't care about our ratings. They don't care about our new digital offerings. They don't care about any of the shining objects in our toolbox. When you go to Home Depot to buy a drill, you're not buying the drill. What are you buying? You're buying the holes. Trust me, the industry, the radio, the television, whatever it is just the medium to get you there. It's the messaging, the strategy, the development that's going to make all the difference. So a while back, I spoke at the NAB, and before doing so, I had a chance to interview some of the top ad minds in the country. I've interviewed the CEOs of Saatchi & Saatchi, the Maroc Agency. I interviewed the creative directors of the Geico account, the UPS account, the McDonald's account, interviewed Tom Bodett, and I had a chance to interview John Adams, the CEO of the Martin Agency. The Martin Agency, as you know, is one of the top agencies across the country. And I talked to John Adams, and I said to John, John, let me ask you a question. There's all this hype about these alternative media and the siphoning away of the traditional media. I said, is traditional media dead? And he said, actually, to the contrary. He said, we've done some of the best online campaigns ever, and we reach a fraction of the audience that traditional media reaches. He said, without traditional media, there is no Geico.com. There is. So what traditional media does is lead people. It's the trigger, it's the driver, the branding mechanism to lead people to the website so they can gather more information. So it's not an either or, it's a complementary, symbiotic relationship between the media that's going to make a difference. So here's the challenge. Do you guys agree that everybody's number one? Everybody's number one somewhere. So we buy media. We've got an advertising agency as well. We buy media in 19 markets across the country. We do all the placement for Virginia Blood Services. We do work with Midas, with others. And what I'll tell you is we get more media kits, and everybody's got their pretty bar charts there, and everybody's number one somewhere, some day parts, some demos, some shows, some program. What I'm telling you, it doesn't matter who's number one. It doesn't matter, because what I care more about is who's going to help me become number one with my clients. Who's going to be the partnership I'm looking for, more committed to my success. So what we're looking at is there are really different determinations or determinants of campaign success. Has anybody here ever had someone say to them, I tried advertising and it didn't work? Anybody ever had that? Here's the way you want to respond. I can almost guarantee you with 99% accuracy that it's because of one of three things is the reason why advertising didn't work. A, it wasn't the right media. It wasn't the right station targeting the right audience. It wasn't the right program in television. It wasn't the right digital demographics. So what you're looking at, it's got to be targeted at the right audience. Number two, you've got to have the right momentum. It's got to have frequency, consistency, repetition. You can't try it for a week or weekend and see if it works. And number three, obviously, it's got to be the right message. It's got to be relatable. It's got to be relevant. It's got to speak to that unique need, want, desire. So back in the old days, I remember when I first began at WSB Radio back in the old days, they taught us about, well, first of all, they taught us about how to overcome objections, how to look for buying signs, how to close the deal, put the pin down, the first one to speak loses. None of that. What you want to do is lead people to success. So the message now, and they told us back at WSB years ago, back in 1980, in every commercial you want to put the who, the what, the when, the where. Been in business since 1958. Guess what? No one cares. No one cares. They care about one word. What's that one word? Why. Why? Why should I watch? Why should I listen? Why should I care? Everybody's favorite station is WIFM. What's in it for me? Is it going to save me time, save me money, make me rich, make me happy, bring me love, security? What is that unique benefit that's going to be achieved by me picking up the phone and calling? You don't want to be the best kept secret in town. So now it used to be about informing and persuading and reminding. Now with the more savvy consumer, it's about connecting, educating, and leading people to pick up the phone. It's about influencing perceptions, changing opinions. Why do the political candidates keep on advertising? What are they trying to get us to do? If not change our opinion, rethink our existing beliefs. Guess what? If any one of those three are not in place, guess what's going to happen? It's going to fall over. I call it the three-legged stool. So in the book and in our training, we really have two different aspects. We have the sales of advertising, we have the business of advertising. The sales of advertising is all about us, our products, our services, our close rate, our prospect rate, our percentage of budget. That's all about us. Where did most of the training that you receive about, is it typically on the left side of the ledger or is it on the right side of the ledger? Typically on the left, right? What I'm suggesting to you is learn about the client's business. If you want to walk into a business, an individual client, you want to talk business, but don't talk our business, talk their business. Talk add to sales ratios, talk prospect values, talk lifetime of a customer, talk break-even point analysis. If we help them grow their business again, our business takes care of itself. There's a client, there's a Midas dealer in Richmond, Virginia. Mark Smith, probably 12, 13 years ago, walked into him, and we're talking, and I had a radio station in Richmond, Virginia. I said, Mark, why, keyword why would someone call you as opposed to somewhere else? And Mark gave me with such clarity, with such passion and such conviction that I said, you should be doing your own commercials. He said, no way, no how, I'm not going to do it. I don't want to do it for the ego. I said, screw ego, Mark. No one can do what you do and say what you do like you do. So we ended up coming in, we did a big campaign. When Virginia Blood Services needed blood, we decided instead of just putting up a typical blood mobile like most people do, we decided what can we do to really encourage people to give blood. So you know what we did? We came up with a campaign that for every donation of blood, you get a free oil change. How about that? Our fluids for your fluids. You know, our fluids, kind of gross, but that's okay. But what we did is through the years, we started out with the first couple of drives, 25 or 30 people per blood drive. Now with every drive, we get over 400 donations of blood. We've been responsible for over 20,000 donations of blood that have saved over 60,000 lives, okay? That's a lot. Now let's think about it. You think that's also giving away 20,000 oil changes. You may think that's a lot of oil changes. So if you've got a retail value of a $30 oil change, the client wins, they give blood, they get a free oil change, big win. How about for Midas? What's the cost of an oil change? About $15. So let me ask you a question. Is it worth $15 to get a new customer in the door? And by the way, what do they do once they're there? They do a 45-point courtesy check. They may find other things. We're looking to build not a customer for one time, we're looking to build a lifetime value of a customer. So also, when we came up with a concept to try to help another local cause, Virginia, the Central Virginia Food Bank. With that, we decided that for every oil change, we're going to donate $1 to the Central Virginia Food Bank to feed hungry kids for a backpack program. However, $1 buys 5 meals. What do you think sounds better? Give away $1 or provide up to 5 meals? Provide up to 5 meals. We did that. We've been doing that successfully so. Now, let me give you the back thing. We are spending right now in the Richmond marketplace, we're on 32 weeks out of the year, we're 9 stations deep. 9 stations deep. And you may think, oh my God, that's a lot. You don't need to go that deep. Here's the backstory. Midas is the #1 Midas franchise in the country, Richmond, Virginia. They've got one store that did $3.7 million, one location, 5 times greater than the next nearest competitor. And Midas is up 60 of the last 64 months. Pretty good. How many of your clients are up 60 of the last 64 months, averaging double-digit acquisition growth? And just to show that you don't have to choose between being missionary and mercenary, Midas was the Retailer of the Year for the Richmond Retail Merchants Association, and they won the Impact Award from the Chamber of Commerce. And they have been, every year, the Chief Marketing Officer, Rick Dow of Midas, and Pat Kemp, the CEO of the Maroc Agency, would come into Richmond to see what we're doing, and we talk about the future of automotive care. Because of their success, we refer to Midas ASAE, which has 19 different markets around the country, Kansas City, Omaha, Des Moines, Quad Cities, and we rolled out the same program called Putting the Brakes on Hunger. Let me tell you, we've got 1 year worth of commercials that we placed. We did it, not a single commercial mentioned price, not a single commercial mentioned any of the services. Everything we talked about was feeding hungry kids in your community. People like to patronize people who do good for the community. People like to work for people who do good for the community. That campaign was so successful that Midas corporately contacted us and said, we like what you guys have been doing. We're going to roll out a program nationwide called Drive Out Hunger. Many of you maybe have seen that. They've been promoting it. They've got a vehicle that's gone around the country, and it has been extraordinarily successful. So let's talk about what the purpose of advertising is. When I talk to our clients, I really say we've got 2 goals for them. Number 1, to help make them more efficient with their media placement and more effective with their advertising results. How many of your clients want to be more efficient with their media placement and more effective with the advertising results? Number 2, we're going to tell them we want to help really good local companies create great local brands. In your marketplace, so there are a lot of really good local companies that no one knows who they are or what they do. You don't want to be the best kept secret in town. Case in point, Smiley's Glass, local automotive glass dealer in the Richmond marketplace. They came to us, they were dying. They said they'd been in business for over 50 years. Sandra Carrique's father started the business 50 years ago. Every year the business is going down and down. And finally, they said, by the way, do you guys have the Safe Lights of the world? They're being killed by the Safe Lights of the world. If you've got a big category killer that's coming to the market in a big way, you have 2 choices. You can either roll over and play dead, or you can do what? Promote why you're different, which what we did is to do that. We did a radio campaign. By the way, with Midas, we were 80% radio, by the way, with all of our campaigns. With Smiley's, we're about 90% radio. And in the last 3 years that we've been advertising, and we've been advertising 7 stations deep. We just put a campaign, 7 stations deep, and we're on for 26 weeks out of the year. They increased their business by 53% over a 2-week period. Virginia Blood Services, same thing, trying to increase blood donations. They had not had an annual campaign. They only were relying on press releases. How many calls do you guys get for press releases? We said the best way to get press is to be an advertiser. We placed a statewide campaign throughout Virginia, and we did radio primarily. 73% is what we spend, and we advertise throughout the holidays. Now the challenge is, a lot of people want to come in, they just want to put together a commercial, a radio commercial. We met with a flooring company in a marketplace that said they're being killed by the category killers. Who are the category killers? Home Depots, Lowe's. But I looked at the website and I saw they have a Confidence Plus guarantee. If you don't love it for any reason, we'll replace it. If you find a lower price, we'll refund the difference. How many of you do you think at Lowe's and Home Depot and Menards will do that? Not a chance, but that's what they should be doing, is promoting that unique differential difference in the marketplace. So how many prospects is it going to take to get a return of your investment? This is a personal injury attorney we met with in a marketplace. They've got an average ticket of $7,000. They make 35% on it. They've got a close rate of 60%, which means they've got a prospect value of $1,470. Every time someone picks up the phone to call, guess what? That's how much that's worth. On a $2,000 advertising investment, all you need is 1.4 people to get a return on that investment. What if you've got a lower average ticket and high repeat visits? Say if restaurant, we had in Louisville, Kentucky, $36 average ticket, $68 gross margin. Every customer is worth $24 per occasion, but you're not coming in just one time. Over the course of a year, that client is worth $294. If they come for 3 years, the lifetime patronage, what that means is that every new customer that walks in the door is worth $881. Every new customer. Imagine a big old Post-it note on top of their head. Let's take a look. What if you can increase the average ticket from 36 to 40? How about patronage from 12 times to 14 times? And instead of 3 years, what if we could just get 1 more year out of them? What would that do? Well, that means the average value would be $1,500. So on a $2,000 investment, all you really need is 1 or 2 new customers per month to get a return of and on that investment. Pretty realistic. So the goals in media advertising, as I see it, is number 1, to get a share of mind, top of mind awareness. What we're looking at there is letting them know who we are. Number 2 is a share of time. But number 3 is a share of dime, which rhymes better than dollars. Now, what I believe is that most local advertisers want to go right to getting a share of dime, where by doing so, they've got to start a sale mentality. And by doing that sale mentality, once you start that sale mentality, you've always got to keep there. So when it comes to value, you can't be all things to all people. Are you a low-cost provider or are you a premium provider? If you're a low-cost provider, you're going to be advertising sale, but then again, you can buy a cheaper cup of coffee than at Starbucks, a cheaper suit than at Nordstrom's, and stay somewhere cheaper than Ritz-Carlton. But remember, marketing gets them in the door, but return on experience is going to keep them back getting a return of their investment. And finally, here's what I believe when it comes to your success. Your success begins with one word: knowledge. Because knowledge, I believe, leads to competence. The more knowledgeable you are, the more competent you are. Competence leads to confidence, and confidence leads to greater activity, and greater activity to greater success. So System 21 is a program we're rolling out in about 20 markets around the country, and we are helping people talk business. We've got a $200,000 guarantee, and the first 6 months are free. We've got a number of people here that we've been working with. If you'd like to hear more information about it, please visit system21.net or contact me during the show. I'll be happy to set up a time for a webinar. Just want to thank you so much. It's been a pleasure being here with you today.